In the last video, we discussed some topics that led us to the idea of a dystopia. But for certainty's sake, let's get critical. Like, super critical. What the heck is a dystopia anyways? When we see depictions of a dystopian society, the first thing that comes to mind is zombies and nuclear bunkers. But what exactly does a dystopia feel like socially? Before the brain eating commences and before the government shuts down and before full-on societal collapse, where does the descent begin? In Plato's Republic, Book 2 through 4, Socrates describes to his conversational partner an image of society that looks a lot like a utopia. He says this is so utopian that the people in this society lead such healthy lives that they live in peace and they will naturally come to a good old age and leave their children to do the same. His description of this type of collection sounds akin to more traditional cultures, such as many indigenous peoples found around the globe. They produce enough food and other resources for a sustainable living throughout every season. They have no needs for anything much more than that. Their lifestyle safeguards and protects itself by creating natural limitations. Well, that's fascinating and all, but how does that connect us to the point at hand today? After Socrates explains the society like this, the person who he's talking to in the book actually says that this society is for animals, it's for pigs, it has no luxuries. Where are the beds? Where are the couches? Where are the pretty things? Where's the gold? He goes on to say that a community without these luxuries is for animals. Now, this point comes on pretty early. In the beginning of Book 2, Socrates' reply to this is a full-on discourse explaining the different levels of society, which is actually just a spectrum of the different types of societies and how they descend into complete madness. Let's go down the full line of what these government and societal types look like and what they are. We start with an aristocracy, which is a small group of people who have everyone's best interest at hand, and they have to be picked, and it's an entire process of who becomes a ruler. Now, it's only those group of people who rule, and they always have not their best interest at hand, but the collective's best interest. Next after that is a timocratic society. Think Spartans or Vikings here. It's a society whose only goal is its honor and wealth. It's a split up from the aristocracy. There's a divide that happens, one on fully owning every piece of gold that exists in the universe, and the other on pure civic engagement and natural harmony. The third type of society is an oligarchy or plutocracy. This one might have sounded familiar from all of your government classes. This state is a collective which only the rich and the powerful rule. The descent from democracy is apparent here, of course. Instead of the society being aimed mostly at the betterment of all of its people, now it's only aimed at wealth and the acquisition of it. Now, after an oligarchy and after a plutocracy, either a society can start or decline into a democracy. And this is a society that's a lot similar to the ones that we see today in modern ruling. Any able-bodied person can be a part of the ruling class. So if the main goal of an oligarchy is just wealth and honor, the main goal of a democracy is liberty and wealth, making most of the individual's main goals in their entire lives equal to that of a poor slave. Now, the final and fifth stage that a society can either start or decline to and in is despotism. Democracy's undoing is in its pursuit of the goal. In a democratic collection on the cusp of despotism, its people are so sensitive to self-control, moderation, discipline, and limitation that the very idea of all of those concepts is tyrannical, going as far as disregarding laws. Obviously, we can see where this is going. This leads to a completely lawless situation. And what kind of ruler rules over society without laws? Well, a totalitarian dictator. In this society, led by an absolute power who subjects all to prevent treason, of course, this single ruler and its society are all aimed towards lawlessness, desire, and lust. It's full-on chaos, full-on lunacy. Now, for the individual in this society, it's looking super grim. They're always working, and they are never allowed even a few ounces of individual power. And there you have it, a full breakdown of exactly what a dystopia is and where it can start. Now, before we end the video, let's make a final observation. Where are we today in our society? Are we on the cusp of despotism? Are we one stage away from full-on lunacy and pursuit of only wealth? Or can we make a change? Can we say no to tyranny? That is a question that only you and I can answer through the development and the progressing of this very society. Today we had a discussion of the mind, a battling of the thoughts, all in quest of the truth. Thanks for watching, and next time you think about a dystopia, ask yourself, what stage is your society in?